Hi everyone, it's Lillian here. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Alberta, Canada. And I was just about to do something because I was having some problems and I thought, well, I'll just share it with you. So although this is not a scheduled Facebook Live, I'm going to just pop on and share this tip with you. So have you ever been stamping and then your stamps don't seem to be working very well? That was what was happening with me. So I'm just going to take you down to my desk and show you all about it. Hi, Catherine. I'm amazed you're here with us. You're Johnny on the spot, and I'm so pleased. I thought I would be doing this video in cyberspace here, but I am so glad you're here. So what the problem often is when you're inking up your stamp, you just ink it up normally, and you were just looking at Facebook. Well, that was perfect timing. And then you stamp, and what's happening? It's not very dark. Well, I'll try a different one here. So I'll try this leaf, and I'm stamping. And this one's photopolymer, but I'm on a cushion and it's still not very dark. So what's the problem? Maybe well, I guess I should share this video, make sure that it's going. But what a lot of people do is then they pound, and they press harder and harder. Doesn't change a whole lot. So then they press harder and harder in the ink pad, and then they press harder and harder on here. Still, it's a little bit better, but it's still not wonderful. So what is the problem? The problem is you need to re-ink your ink pad. So we're going to talk about how to do that today. It is often something we just don't even think about. And then when we think that the impression's not happening very much, I don't understand why, and this is why. It's a simple solution. So I always say, when you get an ink pad, always get the re-inker. And I forgot to turn my sound off. I really got on here spur of the moment. So where do you find re-inkers in your catalog? If you look in your catalog, where you find all the listings of the paper and that kind of thing, there's your cardstock and then your different colors. There's your stamp pad, and then right below that is your refill. And I always say, get that refill. You can do lots of different things with your refill, but the basic thing is you can re-ink your ink pads. And that way your ink pads can last for years and years and years. So how do we go about re-inking an ink pad? Let's move this out of the way for a moment. First of all, you need an ink refill. So what happened with me is this is Soft Succulent, one of the new in colors, and I was going to use it just before a class, and suddenly it wasn't working very well. I went to re-ink it because I always buy re-inkers when I buy my ink pads, and for some reason I had missed ordering this. So I had to change my colors for that particular project. And then I thought, this is perfect timing to show how to re-ink. Now, I have done this before, but it's been a while and I've had people asking. So your ink pad is dry. Your re-inker is really quite runny. So this is how I do it. It might not be exactly the same, but I go zig, 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 like that. Look at how it's soaking in there. Then I turn it and I go zig, 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 like that. I might do a little bit more there, but I don't want to get too much. But you might say, well, that looks a little weird. You can see your lines on there. Yeah, you can. So what I do is I bring in a plastic spoon. Now you could even use your bone folder if you want, but you want something that's not going to have a sharp edge. And the reason this works so well is I can press here, but the edges aren't going to catch. A sharp edge will cut your ink pad, and you don't want that. So now I'm just putting my finger here for some pressure, and I'm just going to swish it back and forth just as if I was icing a cake, which I never do anymore, but I can ice my ink pad. And then I'm going to do it this way too, and you see how it's pushing the ink around like that? So now you've re-inked your ink pad. And then what I tend to do is I close it up. Now remember, Stampin' Up's ink pad design is this way, so when it's closed, it's actually upside down, or the ink pad itself is upside down, so the ink's on the surface, but I want it to soak in. So I don't know, just for a few minutes, I'm going to put it upside down like that, and it will be a whole lot better. Then I just rinse my spoon off and I'm ready to go for the next one. Now, one of the ink pads that's a little bit different is your Versamark. Now, this is a really ancient Versamark. Remember, they start out white, but this has been used and used and used. But your Versamark ink isn't runny like your regular ink pad ink. It is kind of thick and almost a gel. So I often find when I'm doing this one, I have to really, really press with my fingers and it comes out and I almost do dots. So, but again, I try to get all over my ink pad like that. So I've got, looks like the measles right now, but I've got that all over there. But you see how it just sits? It's just like a gel, and I brought in another spoon. And again, it's curved up, so I'm not going to gouge, and I'm going to just ice the ink pad again. So swishing it back and forth and pushing it down. Now, this ink pad is not like this one. It's already this way. So if I just put the lid on, and I always put an elastic around my Versamark, and like that, it will soak down in. Then once it's soaked down in, remember the Versamark and your Memento ink pads, you store them upside down. But right now we want them to soak in, so store it like that. Now, some of you are, let's come back now that we've given this a moment to soak in, and let's give it a try with these stamps again. So let's bring in the red rubber, tap, tap, tap. I'm not pressing very hard. Stamp. Look at the difference. And I don't know about you, but I am finding right now that almost all my ink pads need re-inking, and I think it's the dry winter and all of that kind of thing. But if you're not getting a good impression, try re-inking. Look at the difference. So I just find that very dramatic, very wonderful, and it's such a quick fix when you think that things aren't working. So I just wanted to take a moment, just trying to find some space here. How do I store my re-inkers? So let's move this out of the way and just talk about that for a minute. I store my re-inkers in these storage units that Stampin' Up sells. So there's this little thing here. Let me just show it to you. So again, let's go back here just past the papers. So right here. So we have these little units here, and you can stack them however you want. But this top one here is just like a little box, and it holds my re-inkers perfectly. So that's what I have here, and I'll show you the rest after a minute. But I wanted to show you why I've got colored on the top. Because I'm looking from the top, it's hard to see. And if I didn't have these little markers on the top, I would be forever checking what color's what. So what I do is I bring in a 1/4 inch hole punch or some other small punch, and I punch out of the same color. So this was soft succulent re-inker. I punch out of that, and then I put it on a glue dot and put it on the lid, and now I can see right away. Yes, Catherine, it makes so much difference. Now I can see right away that this is likely my soft succulent. It narrows it down anyway. So it's like that. So let me just show you. So let me see, I might be, so the neat thing about these is you can stack them. So there's one storage unit that holds blends, and I'm just going to take this off so that it's not so high, like that. And look at this. This will stack right on top. Whoops. There we go. Of course, I'm trying to move it and tip it a little bit so you can see. But see how that, so you can stack it like that. The other thing you can do is there's a section that you can buy that holds your ink pad and your pen. So I can have it like that and stack it like that, which is what I do. I make towers of these things, and I coordinate the colors much like the they have it in the catalog, but you can make it fit whatever you want. I also have this one here. I use that to put some of my adhesives in, or you can put ribbon in. And here they've put ribbon, but I've put adhesives. So just a little storage tip to go with the re-inkers. Now you can use your re-inkers for lots of other things, and that's a whole other video. But I just wanted to give tips on how to re-ink your ink pad and get your images to go from this to this. So hope that helps. Thank you so much for those of you who happened to find me here right away. And if you're watching on YouTube or watching later, do leave a comment, give you the thumbs up, and even subscribe. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.